Hi everyone. In the last video, we studied about IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Now we are going to look into cloud deployment models. So, in that cloud deployments model, as you see in the screen, there are private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and a community cloud. So, before jumping into those main topics, we will see what is the cloud deployment model means. So now we need to understand that cloud types. These are all the main types of clouds: private, public, and a cloud. The selection of the cloud. So here we can get confused between which one we need to select. If the application needs any of the cloud type, for example, it has to store or some private data, so on that time which one he needs to select, or he needs to segregate some data based on the respective of the sensitivity of the data, so in where and all he can store all those data. So selection of the model or a selection of the cloud type is very important. So the selection is going to deploy, and it is based on depending on the factors and what that particularly that application is going to influence, and any risk data it is going to store. So based on these compliances and regulatory requirements and the legal obligations and internal business decisions and the strategies, they are going to select which cloud type they wanted to switch. So in that, first we will see a public cloud model. In this public cloud model, according to the NIST definition, we have some nice definition they gave for a public cloud. So this public cloud infrastructure is provided for open use by a general public. It might be owned or managed and or operated by the business, academic, or government organization, or some combination of them. It may be existing on the premises of the cloud provider. So for this, best example of public cloud means you can see nowadays every government activities are going to be stored in some files and all. Publicly they wanted to release some data, so they are going to store that in one particular place. So those are all. So it everyone, whoever wants that particular file, they are going to access that one. So for this best example, even we can take a government also, or else we can take it as like a music apps. So these are all like a public cloud. So in that so many songs and categories, genres and artists will going to differ that. So we are going to select based on our taste and based on our moods, we are going to select those. So these are all like a public cloud type. So in this public clouds, what are all the benefits we are going to get? So it is like not only these benefits, but according to my observation, I seen these are all the basic type of benefits we are going to get by using a public cloud. So one is like easy and inexpensive setup, because that covers a hardware, application, and a bandwidth cost also. And even it is streamlined to easy to provision resources. And next one is the scalability to meet the customer needs also. And next one is no wasted resources, pay as you consume. So for this public cloud providers are like Amazon, Microsoft, Salesforce, and Google. These are all among others. And next one is private cloud model. What is this private cloud model means? That the cloud infrastructure is a provision for exclusive use by a single organization, compromising a multiple consumers. Example like a business units. It may be owned, managed, and operated by the organization, a third party, or some combination of them. So these are all like a one of private cloud means these are in this they are going to store some sensitive data for in the perspective of a security person. So we can think like in this a private cloud they are going to store some sensitive data. For example, it may be like a internal matters of a companies. Like internal matters means their business deals, their financial things, their so many files will be there, and their client data, everything they are going to store in a one particular private cloud. So these are all like it is not going to available to other person or other companies also. So they are wanted to keep those all those in a secret, so they are going to use like a private cloud model. So in a private cloud model is typically managed by one particular organization. It serves, or however it may be for outsourcing also they are going to do. Even outsourcing the general management of this trusted third parties may also be an option in this. And a private cloud is typically available only to the entity of an organization. It employs contractors and selected third parties will be there. And what and all the main key benefits in a private cloud means it increases the control over the data, underlying systems and applications, and ownership and relations of governance controls, and assures over data location and removal of multiple legal and compliances requirements also. So they are using this we are going to gain all these benefits. In this, most of the cloud service providers are also going to provide these all type of cloud. And next one is hybrid cloud. In this hybrid cloud model we are going to combining of two clouds models, two or more distinct cloud infrastructures like a private, community or a public that remains a unique entity but are bounded together by a standardized or proprietary technologies that enables the data and application portability. And this hybrid cloud computing is gaining in a popularity because it enables the organization to retain control of their IT environment, coupled with the convenience of allowing the organization to use a public cloud service to fulfill the non-mission critical workloads, and taking advantages of flexibility, scalability, and even a cost saving also. So in this we are going to see so many key benefits in a hybrid cloud. One is retain a ownership and oversight of a critical task and process related to technology. And next one is reuse previous in for example, if it may be like I wanted to save the resources and all. In so many organizations, what they are going to use, they are going to reuse the already available or already built resources they are going to use. That one we can gain through this hybrid cloud. For that point we can say in one particular one a simple line means we can say it like reuse the previous investments in the technology within the organization. Or next one is control the most critical business components and the systems. And next, act as a cost effective means it is going to fulfill the non-critical business functions like public cloud components. And next one is enhancing the cloud bursting and DR by hybrid cloud deployment. Cloud bursting allows for public cloud resources to utilize when a private cloud workload has reached the maximum capacity. Next one is community cloud model. So in this community cloud model, it is like one of the best definition we want to see means it is like one of the infrastructure is provisioned for exclusively used by a specific community or a consumer from an organization that have shared concerns. For example, like missions, security requirements, policies, and compliances consideration. It may be owned, managed, or operated by one or more of the organization in the community. It may be a third party or some combination of them. so they are going to exist on or off a premises. So these community clouds can be premises of offsite, and should give the benefits of a public cloud deployment while providing a high intent level of privacy, security, and regulatory compliances. And next one we will see cloud technology roadmaps. So in this cloud technology roadmaps, we are going to come across a few key points. So in that, first we will see interoperability. So interoperability defines how easy it is to move and reuse the application components regardless of a provider, or it may be a platform, OS, infrastructure, or it may be a location, storage, format of a data, or an APIs. So how well application work together, and how well the new application work with other solution present in the business organization or provides the existing architecture. So these are all standard based product, processes, and service entities that ensures these following points. One is investment do not become a permanently technology obsoletely. It's like only that investment is not depending on only a particular technology, or organization are able to easily change the CSPs to flexibility and cost effectively support their mission. And next one is organizations can economically acquire commercial and developed private clouds using a standard based products, process, and services. So next one is portability. So in this, portability is the key aspect to consider the way when selecting a CSPs, because it can both help to prevent a vendor lock-in and delivery of a business benefits by allowing identical cloud deployment to occur in a different CSP sections or in a CSP solutions, either for the purpose of a DR or for the global deployment of distributed single solution. Next one is availability. So availability is in the name only, it is telling like systems and resources or availability defines the success or a failure of a cloud based services. As a single point of failure, as a SPOF for a cloud based services, where the service or a cloud deployment lose availability, the customer is unable to access that particular target assets or resources, resulting in a downtime. In many cases, CSPs are required to provide upward of 99.9% of availability as per the SLA. Failure to do so can result in penalties, reimbursement of fees, loss of customers, loss of confidence, and ultimately it is going to damage the reputation and the brand also. So next one is security. Security for many customers and potentially cloud users, security remains the biggest concern, with security continuing to act as a barrier preventing them from engaging with the cloud services. Many CSPs now lease their typically or minimum level of security, but will not lease the publicly state specific security controls for fear of being targeted by attackers, or it may be like a knowledge necessary to successfully compromise their networks. Where such contracts or engagement requires specific security controls and technologies to be applied, and these are all like typically seen as extras, and they insecure additional cost, and they require some relevant non-disclosure agreements to be completed before engaging in any activity or any inactive discussions. So in many cases, for smaller organization to move to a cloud-based services significantly enhances their security controls, give that they may not have the access to or processes or the relevant security capability of a large-scale cloud computing providers. So generally, the rule of thumb for security controls and requirements in the cloud-based environment is based on, if you want additional security, additional cost will be going to include. You can have the almost whatever you want when it comes to the cloud security, just as long as you can find the right provider and you are willing to pay for it. Next one is privacy. Privacy, the word of cloud computing, privacy presents as a major challenge for both consumers and the providers. The reason for this is simple: no uniform or uh, international privacy directives, laws, regulations, or control exist, leading to a separate, disparate, and segmented mesh of laws and regulations being applicable depending on the geographical locations where the information may be reside, or maybe it may be transmitted. Although many of the leading providers of a cloud service make a provisions to ensure the location and legislative requirements are met, this should never be taken as a given and should not be a specified within relevant SLAs and contracts. For many European entities and organizations, failure to ensure appropriate provisions and controls have to be applied can violate the EU data protection laws and obligation that can lead to various issues and implementations or implications. Within a Europe, privacy is seen as a human right, and as such it should be treated with utmost respect, not bypassing the various state laws across the United States and other geographic locations can make the job of the cloud architect extremely complex, requiring an interactive level of knowledge and controls to ensure that there is no such violations or breaches of privacy and data protection occurs. So these points they needs to keep in the mind while giving a architecture of any particular cloud. And next one is performance. Next, performance, that cloud computing is a high performance should go hand in hand at all time. Let's face it, if the performance is poor, you may not be a consumer for very long, or you are not going for an optimum performance to be experienced through the use of cloud services, and the provisioning elasticity and other associated components should always be focused on performance. With these are all the elements influencing the design, integration, and deployment activity, performance should be boosted and enhanced throughout. It will always harder to refine and amend the performance once design and development has been completed. Next one is governance. So the term governance relating to process and decisions looks to define actions, assigning the responsibility and verify the performance. The same can be said and adopted for a cloud service and environment, where the goals is to secure the applications and the data when it transmit and at rest. In many cases, cloud governance is an extension or of a existing organizational or a traditional business process governance with a slightly altered risk and control landscape. So all other points we are going to see in SLAs, auditability, and regulatory compliance, and these are all we are going to see in a next upcoming week. So keep watching. Thank you. Sorry for delay in coming for this video because of some technical glitch and because of some technical issues. I am not able to make this video. So pardon me for not coming for 2 weeks of videos. Next, I am going to, for sure, I will try my level best to come up with a every week with a new concept of this CCSP. Thank you. Keep watching.